Wait a minute. Okay, we are now live. I made the mistake earlier of assuming we were live, so I'm going to redo that intro over again. Greetings to everybody in the listening audience. Assalamu Allah to all the supreme angels. Salam alaikum to the Muslims. Peace, shalom. Universal greetings to everybody in the listening audience. And I also want to greet everyone who will listen to this recorded video once it's recorded. I am AnnurAllah, and I want to welcome you all again to this podcast, this edition of our podcast. We have, I'm hearing some feedback. We have you, Brother Ahmed. Do you hear any feedback?
I don't.
Okay, that's good. I don't hear it either. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, yes. We have again backed by popular demand, our Brother Minister Ahmed El-Shabazz. And the subject that we're getting into today is Ramadan as taught specifically by the messenger Elijah Muhammad. So, Assalamu alaikum, salam Allah to Brother Minister Ahmed El-Shabazz.
Assalamu alaikum, my brother. How's everyone today?
Alaikum salam. I'm marvelous.
Great.
This just like the other podcast, the first one that we did is random. This
Yes,
time
sir.
I just woke up this morning and said, you know what, I want to do one. I was inspired from the last two, and being that we are approaching the month of Ramadan, we're not there yet, but I wanted to share some information as well as some inspiration that would inspire as many people as possible to join us in our annual observation of Ramadan as taught by the messenger. So
Indeed.
yes, sir. Brother Ahmed is going to be this is an interview. He's going to be asking me some questions. Now again, this isn't script. We're going straight from the heart, off the dome, because me personally, I feel like when it's coming off the top, when it's coming off cap, it's more real. It's coming from the heart. This is open to questions from the listening audience. My hands are open, and I want the hardest, the best questions, any questions that you ask. This is also a learning opportunity for me. So I'm gonna give the floor to Brother Minister Ahmed Shabazz, and he can begin.
All right. Again, assalamu alaikum. And this morning when you called, I was like, yeah, let's do this. You said you was inspired and you felt the need to do it. And whenever you feel like that, you have to do it, you know.
Right.
So what is the main motivation? Why would you want it? What is driving you to speak on Ramadan right now, given the
That's a good.
fact that it's just September? But also keep in mind, who else was born in September, but they say was born in December.
Right. We're taught from the messenger's teachings, the historical Esau, or AKA Jesus.
Right, and they was born on 9/11.
Right.
Some scientists say. But what
Right.
motivates you want to talk about Ramadan?
Interesting. That was interesting. What made me want to talk about Wow, it's so much. I mean, this has been a subject for me for many years that I've been focusing on, and I've got many pointers from many other researchers on the subject as well that has also inspired me in this direction. Me, astronomy is one of the fields that I study. I wouldn't call myself a master of that field. I'll just call myself a student. And in the little bit that I've observed over the years, I saw how extremely accurate the messenger's choice of the month of December for his followers and his people to Ramadan. And I saw how accurate it was and how well it lined up with astronomy, with Holy Quran, with science, and so many things. And I have some of those proofs here today to share with everyone and those in the listening audience.
So it was just more than him trying. The messenger was doing more than just leading us away from the celebration of Christmas. Correct?
By far.
Okay.
By far.
Okay. So he was teaching us theology and science at the same time.
Correct.
All right. See, many people believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad just chose December just to lead us away from Christmas celebration. But there's more to it than that, in order to make it easier for us to fast. But there's more to it than that. And so this is what you're going to get into today. Is
Yes,
that right?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we're going
Absolutely.
to show and prove.
Yes,
This
sir.
is that's more than just him being a heterodox Muslim, as he was
Right.
labeled. Right. Heterodox mean unorthodox. But we're going to show
Right.
today, with the grace of Allah, that the messenger's teachings, as he got from the great Mahdi, Master Farad Muhammad, is the orthodox teachings of Islam. They're
Right.
actually
Oh yeah.
pristine Islam, scientific Islam.
Yeah, we
So,
got the historical data. We
right.
got the proof.
So
Yep.
we're gonna prove this, and so I have an article that you wrote last year, brother.
Sir.
If you don't mind me starting out with this one.
Not at all.
Okay, so last year in September the 7th, 2019, you wrote about Sirius. Okay,
Yes, sir.
you said the number 7, which means God in our mathematics, and it corresponds to Sirius, the star system that is celebrated in different cultures. The number 7 means God, whose proper name in our culture is Allah. All right. Now, the Holy Quran has a chapter on Sirius, or dedicated to Sirius, right?
Yes, sir.
It's chapter 53, or Surah 53, and verse 49.
Right.
And it reads, and that he, Allah, is the Lord of Sirius. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, with that 7 again, you wrote, quote, 7 squared, or 7 times 7 equals 49. Remember, Master Farad Muhammad told us Islam is mathematics. Do you
Yes,
want to
sir.
take it from here?
Yeah, I can take it from there,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Now, first, I want to point out that that surah that you mentioned, 53 of the Holy Quran, the name of the surah is Al-Najm, which is the star.
Mm-hmm.
And the only star that is mentioned by name in this surah, and I would say the entire Holy Quran. I'm talking about the Quran, not inside any of the footnotes by any of the scholars, but the actual Quran itself is it Al-Shira, or Sirius. This is the only star that's mentioned by name in the Holy Quran, and this is the star of that particular ayah. Now, we have to remember that if we look at Surah 53, which I'm actually going to open right about now, I'm trying to find my Maulana Muhammad Ali's translation to, here it is, to reference from. I have several different translations from several different scholars. Some scholars have translated some ayahs better than other scholars in different, translations and books. But nevertheless, let me get right to the point. Okay, Surah 53. If we pay close attention and study it carefully, we'll see that this star, Al-Najm, right, is the star of revelation. Now, traditionally, the Islamic world has based Ramadan off of the sighting of a moon. I don't know if it's a new moon or something to that nature, but they base it off the appearance of the moon. But in Islam, where we actually observe, or rather, how would I say it? In Islam, Ramadan, or in the Quran, rather, Ramadan or is based on revelation. The time revelation was first revealed, or the Quran or the teaching was first revealed to the Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this time period, or this time, was actually marked by the appearance or the positioning of a star, not the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And if we go to Surah 53, which is titled Al-Najm, the star, it begins, it says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, beneficent, the merciful. By the star when it sets, that's very careful, by the star when it sets, your companion errs not, nor does he deviate, nor does he speak out of desire. It is naught but revelation that is revealed. One mighty in power has taught him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to stop right there. So this is talking about teaching and revelation, and it's talking about this teaching and revelation that's based on the positioning of a star. Okay, now the only star mentioned by name in this whole surah, and in fact the whole Quran, is Sirius, besides the sun, but it's Sirius. Now, what does it mean by the star when it sets, which is ayat 1? This, what that means is the star Sirius actually being seen in the southern skies at night, in the south skies, southeast skies, traveling from east to west. That's by the star when it sets. We see this, or we first see this rather. The first time of the year we see this is right. This is a little bit before the fall equinox. This is usually late in the summer, early fall. And late in the summer, early fall, we can actually see Sirius in the southern skies, like very in the wee hours of the morning. And as the days pass, we see it later, or rather, we see it early in the morning until it's around, the nighttime. But anyway, needless to say, to continue on, by the star when it sets, it's talking about this star Sirius being seen in the southern skies at night. Now, this is the early fall, the early autumn. Now, that being said, I want to, where is it? I want to give a quote. I want to share a quote from the messenger, right?
Oh, all right.
Okay. The messenger says, when I quote, this is on page 36 of the True History of Elijah Muhammad. I think I hear a slight little chirping in the background. I don't know if it's something like brushing up against the mic. I'm not sure. It's just real slight though, Brother Ahmed.
Still here?
No, I don't hear it anymore.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, so yeah, this is on page 36 of the True History of Master Fard Muhammad. The messenger said, quote, when I first heard of Islam, it was in Detroit, Michigan, back in the early fall of 1931. And I heard that there was a man teaching Islam by the name of Mr. Wallace Fard. At that time, he used the initials W.D. Fard, and that was in Detroit, Michigan, end quote. Now, early fall, this is the autumn equinox. Early fall, the star when it sets, when it falls. I actually kind of jumped ahead and went to the Quran. I wanted to save the Quranic verse last, but like I said, we're just going straight off the dome. The early fall, I want to share something on the screen in just a few, but this is when we first see the star Sirius in its setting position, and this is when, as the Holy Quran says, your companion errs not, nor does he deviate, nor does he speak out of desire. It is naught but revelation that is revealed. One mighty in power has taught him. So if we look carefully, right, again, chapter 53 or Surah 53, the star, this ayah or this chapter was revealed at Mecca. Right? It was revealed at Mecca. When the messenger said, when he first heard of Islam, it was in Detroit, Michigan, back in the early fall of 1931. And it was a man teaching Islam by the name of Mr. Wallace Fard. Now, we're in Islam, as the Master Fard Muhammad set it up, what's Detroit or Michigan is known as Mecca. And Chicago would be Medina, right?
Exactly.
Symbolic.
Right.
Brother Ahmed, if you don't mind giving some history on that before I get into some of the science or some of this proof that I have, or sharing it with the audience. If you can get into some of the history or whatever you have about Detroit being Mecca and Chicago being Medina.
Yeah, Detroit is the symbolic Mecca of Islam in North America. For our community as well as Islamic community, period. So-called Arab community as well. For instance, Detroit area has the largest Muslim population and the largest so-called Arab population outside of the Mid-East, so-called Middle East. Also, it was the home or the foundation of the Nation of Islam. It's founded by Master Fard Muhammad, and it's called Mecca symbolically, and Chicago is Medina. If you look at a map of Mecca and Medina and Arabia, is close to maybe 300 miles apart from one another, nearly the same distance as Chicago and Detroit. The Shriners or the Freemasons were aware of that fact. That's why they opened up their Medina Temple there in Chicago in 1910.
Right.
And Detroit is called the Muslim. Shriners call their temple there in Detroit Muslim Temple.
Right.
Okay,
It's
so
interesting.
that's for both the Muslims and the so-called Muslim sons or Muslim Shriners. You
Right.
know, so there's a lot of symbolatry there and a lot of fulfillment of prophecy about Detroit.
Right.
You know, uh, the Shriners also have the temple there in New York City. It's called Mecca,
Mm.
and Chicago is called by nickname the Second City. Now,
Right.
both cities have a stock exchange. See, so on the Shriners level, New York is their Mecca, financial Mecca, and
Right.
Chicago is their financial Medina. That's why they have Shriners. Their Shriners simple as a name as such.
Mm.
They're talking over people's heads.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This, oh man, you saying that? See, we might have to do a subject on that alone because I wanted to bring something up that I'm wishing that I included in the proofs that I have, which I'm actually going to begin sharing right away. But little do we are the messenger. I don't even think he was aware, at least at the time,
Mhm.
that he was fulfilling prophecy. Because he just met Master Fard Muhammad, he knew nothing about Islam,
Right,
So when he
right.
first met him in the early fall, which is by the star when it sets, that's
Mhm.
symbolic to the autumn equinox when we first see, when we begin to see the star Sirius in the southern skies. That's when he first learned about Islam and first heard the teaching of this one mighty in power.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly. The
so
Lord
we
of
see,
the Lord of strength.
right,
Yeah.
right. So
Mhm.
we got a Clarence Poole, peace to the true and living God. Peace, Clarence Poole. We appreciate you tuning in
I'm
to
sorry.
this.
I was looking up something I
No,
was
it's
reading
okay.
along with you with I
Yes,
supposed
sir.
to be riding the board with you. I'm sorry, brother.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Like I said,
Assalamu
this is
alaikum, brother.
organic. So
Yes, sir. Assalamu
yeah,
alaikum, brother Poole. Yes, sir.
yes, sir. Yeah, peace. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We're gonna like I said, for everybody listening, please like, comment, subscribe, share the info. You know what I mean? I appreciate everybody for listening, but this is going to be beneficial for all of us. Okay. So
Mhm.
now that being said, okay, we have another comment from Supreme Scientist. Peace, God. He says, peace. I thought it was Dearborn, Michigan, not Detroit.
What was that? The
This is, I guess, in reference to where the messenger
no,
quoted.
that was in Detroit.
Okay, let me
Yeah,
see.
that was in
Yeah,
Detroit.
yeah. That quote that I actually shared was from that's from the True History of Elijah Muhammad on page 36.
Mhm.
No, so he said when he first heard of Islam. So I don't know where at that time Master Fard Muhammad wasn't teaching him personally, but he
Oh,
said he first heard of it. He was in Detroit. So where he first met him and taught personally, I'm not 100% sure, but that quote comes from the messenger on page 36 of of the True History of Elijah Muhammad. So yeah, but yeah. Now, what was I getting ready to go to? Okay, yeah, some of the science. Now, I want to share with everyone that's listening and watching. Right, there's a lot of science in astronomy behind this particular occurrence. If we look at the autumn equinox, if we look at the star Sirius and its positioning and the time where we see it in the night skies, we'll see a lot of correspondence there. I'm actually going to share something here. So let's see if I can pull it up. Now, as we can see demonstrated inside this model of the Earth's ecliptic around the sun, that the Earth between the 1st and the 3rd of January is at its closest point to the sun in its orbit around the sun. The reason why it is winter and cold for those of us in the northern hemisphere is because the North Pole is actually pointed away from the sun and towards the star Sirius at this particular time. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to include that little clip there. That right there was a demonstration of the Earth's orbit around the sun. The Earth
Yeah.
has 4 key points.
Yeah.
Good. You was about to say something, Brother Ahmed?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I can remember it. Go ahead,
The
brother.
Earth has 4 key points in its orbit around the sun. That's the 2 equinoxes and the 2 solstices. In other words, the spring equinox, the fall equinox, the winter solstice, and the summer solstice. If we were to draw, let's say we were to draw a picture, or we to draw a little diagram of the Earth's orbit around the sun, and we were to draw lines connecting the 2 solstices, right, summer and winter, with the 2 equinox, fall and spring, we would actually have a cross, right, with the sun right in the middle of the cross, or the point, the sharp point of the cross right inside the heart of the sun. You know, and if you look at the Christian crosses or the Christian churches, you'll usually see the cross, you'll see the sun right in the middle of the cross. So it's all astronomy. You know, I'm
Right.
not going to attack, or I'm not here to attack anyone's beliefs at the moment. No, let me not say it like that. I'm not here to attack anyone's beliefs on this thread. I'm actually just here to share some facts to enlighten as many as I can. But going back to what I was saying, there's those 4 key points on the Earth's orbit around the sun. Again, when the Earth is at the autumn equinox, that's when we begin to approach our closest point to the sun. You know, this goes back to the month of Ramadan. Okay, the month of Ramadan, as the messenger gave it to us, begins on the first day of December, which is autumn still, and it ends on the very last day of December. Right now, when the Earth is orbiting the sun and it's at its closest point to the sun, original people, us as original people, that has a key role that affects us in a key way. If we go to lesson question and answer 32, understanding wisdom, right, of the 1 through 40, or lesson number 2, it says, tell us the mental and physical power of a real devil. Right, and the answers, it says that the mental power of a real devil is nothing in comparison with the original man. And it goes further on to describe the brains, ounces of brain, which are grafted versus brains which are original. Okay, so we talk about mental power. Mental power. What is the difference between original brains and grafted brains? The cells, the body and brain cells of original people have a higher concentration and content of melanin than that of non-original or grafted peoples. I'm going to share something on the screen real fast, right? Now, remind you, as we are closest to the sun, this means that there's more solar power on the planet. There's more solar power on the planet in general. And original people, melanin dominant people, this has a unique effect on us, or we have a unique, this is unique, more unique to us than anybody else, because we have the most melanin. We're the most melanin dominant. I am going to, let me see, I'm going to quote something from this article, right, off-grid-energy-independence.com, and it talks about how melanin can make for good batteries. It says, quote, melanin is best known as the pigment that dictates our skin tones, but it is found just about everywhere, in our brains, in our hair, in our hair. It is even found in cuttlefish. But as abundant as melanin is, its exact macromolecular chemical structure is surprisingly not well understood. Though researchers have extensively studied the chemical structure of individual melanin molecules for more than 70 years, relatively little is known about the molecular building blocks that form complex melanin pigments. But a team of researchers from Carnegie Mellon has discovered that the chemical structure of melanin on a macromolecular scale exhibits, among other shapes, a 4-membered ring. In other words, a chemical structure that may be conducive to creating certain kinds of batteries based on natural melanin pigments. All right. Now, that being said, you see, that quote can be found, or this article rather, can be found right at this link that I shared here with everybody in the listening or the viewing audience, that off-grid-energy-independence.com. You can screenshot the replay of this and write it down and check it out yourself, or I might just include this link inside the description so you can see it for yourself. Okay, that being said, now I want to go, let's see. Share something. Just bear with me for a second, everybody. Okay. I'm going to read something that I actually wrote on that in a little elaboration and put it in very simple terms. So I want to make this as simple as possible without this being anything complex or going over too many heads. Because I also want everybody to do their research. Don't take anything that I say off face value. Okay, this is from, oops. I'm pulling the post that I made. So macromolecular melanin can convert sunlight into electricity or power. The melanin-rich brain and central nervous systems of the original people are literal solar panels. The original people's brain can convert solar energy or light into electricity, which is power, in much greater capacity than grafted brains can. See question and answer number 32 of lesson number 2, for those who know their lessons. Toxic food and waste does to brain and nerve cells or neurons what rust does to batteries. It impedes the conversion process. Detoxing and purifying the body is like removing rust from batteries. It removes the quote-unquote rusty locks and allows for electricity and electrical signals to flow through the body's wiring, brain and nervous system more efficiently. This means greater brain electricity or greater mental/brain power or electricity. The Earth is in closest proximity to the sun from December to early January, which makes this the optimum time for the melanin-dominant original people to detox and purify, aka Ramadan. Now, that being stated, I want to share, where is this? I want to share just a little bit of astronomy here. This little tad piece of astronomy for people to understand. Get a greater understanding.
Welcome to Lecture Online, and now let's take a look at the Earth's orbit. Most of us know that the Earth's orbit is not circular, it is actually an ellipse. And of course, the person who finally figured that out was Kepler. And a few other things that Kepler figured out, because we of course now know the 3 laws of Kepler. And one of those 3 laws was that the Earth, since it's closer at some point in its orbit here, which we call the perihelion, when the Earth is at its closest point to the sun, and at some point the Earth will be at its farthest point to the sun, we call that the aphelion. Now it turns out that the aphelion coincides with the summer for the northern hemisphere, where most of the people live on the Earth, and perihelion corresponds to the winter for the northern hemisphere. What Kepler said was that the Earth actually moves in the...
Okay, let me see. I believe, make sure that was it. Okay, yeah, there was more to it. I might have stopped that a little bit early, but that's okay. I just wanted him to point that out there. I'm gonna get back to that a little bit later on. But the Earth actually speeds up in its orbit as it gets closer to the sun, which is around the fall and the winter, around that time, that season for us. Again, there's more science to that. I want to play one more clip for astronomy here, and then we're going to go back into some more science. Now, Brother Minister Ahmed opened up with some teachings on Sirius, the Orion constellation, which is seen in the winter, and how all this goes into Ramadan. I'm going to insert this little clip here for those to watch, and I'll be right back in a second.
Autumn stars and planets, and why the stars change with the seasons.
Hey there, stargazers. I'm James Albury, director of the Kika Silva Pla Planetarium in Gainesville, Florida.
And I'm Dean Regas, astronomer for the Cincinnati Observatory.
We're here to help you be sure you know what you're seeing when you
look up.
Just as we have seasons here on Earth, so too do the heavens have their seasons. You see, because our Earth rotates on its axis once every 24 hours from west to east, the stars appear to slowly drift across the sky in the opposite direction from east to west.
And if our Earth didn't orbit the sun but sat perfectly stationary as it spun in the heavens, we would see the same star patterns in the same spot at the same time every single night. But because our Earth is not stationary and makes one journey around the sun once every 365.25 days, our Earth changes its position with respect to the stars a little bit each night, so we do see a change in the stars each night.
For example, if a given star rises above the horizon at 8 o'clock one night, the following night that same star will rise 4 minutes earlier and will be approximately 1 degree farther along in its journey across the night sky at 8 p.m., which further means that after a month, any given star will be 30 degrees farther along on its journey across the sky at 8 p.m., which further means that after 3 months, or a quarter of a year, any given star will have moved 90 degrees, or a quarter of the way around the entire sky at 8 p.m.
And since each season is about a quarter of a year long, this means that at any season, if you go out at around 8 p.m., the stars overhead will be much different than the stars overhead at the previous or following season.
A sure sign of spring skies is the appearance of Leo the Lion in the early evening.
And in the winter, Orion the Hunter.
Now let's pay close attention to the star system Orion that they just mentioned. If we take a further look at Orion, what we'll see is that at the foot of Orion, or the base rather, towards the left, we'll see the star system Sirius, which the Holy Quran refers to as the Ramadan star. Okay.
All right.
So,
Yes, sir. Yeah, so that's some science in there, brother.
Yeah.
It's even in the Bible, right? Seek him that maketh the 7 stars in Orion.
Right.
The Lord is his name. The book of Amos, verse 8.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, I want to see all this has an effect on the anatomy and the physiology of original people during this time. You know what I'm saying? Our brains and our nervous system. Just 1 second, I'm actually going into How to Eat to Live, where the messenger actually speaks on this. Now, before I get to that, if we look at the Ramadan that's practiced by the general Muslim world as of today, we know that its practice is based on a calendar that was instituted in the year 638 AD. This was 6 years after the death of the Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah. So the Hijra calendar was actually instituted after he passed. So we want to know what was Ramadan like? What Ramadan did he practice? How did the Muslims practice Ramadan in the time of the Quran, when it was being revealed to the people in the time of the Prophet? I'm going to share this proof right here. I'm going to share some proof that Ramadan, the very last Ramadan practiced by the Muslims in the time of Muhammad, which is 631 AD, actually corresponded and coincided exactly with the 1st of December to the 30th of December of the Gregorian calendar, exactly what the messenger gave to us. Before I do that, let me check out some of these comments. Let me see. Okay, this is Supreme Scientist in regards to the highest Muslim population in the U.S. Okay, I think I'm responding late to some of these comments. Yeah, that might have been in regards to the highest Muslim population in the U.S.
Dearborn.
Right.
Dearborn. Yeah, I said the Detroit area.
Oh, okay.
See, that's what I was saying.
Okay.
Dearborn has the largest Arab population, but
Right.
but the Detroit area as a whole has the largest Muslim population. That's why Detroit is called Mecca. The Detroit population. They go with the major city, not, Dearborn is not a major city, so they go by the major well-known city. But what my statement was, Detroit area. The city itself, Detroit proper, and the city of Dearborn. The largest mosque in North America is in Dearborn.
Okay. Yeah. Pardon self, Supreme Sciences. I had opened up these comments a little bit later as I was sharing some of those. So hopefully that addressed your question. But yeah, that quote from the messenger was in regards to where he first heard Islam. Let me go to some more of these comments before we continue. Clarence Poole, my name is Fard Wise on Facebook. I'm Muslim God, Ma'atik Islam. Okay. Peace. I'm gonna check you out online, God. Let me see. His Supreme Scientist again. Dearborn is in Detroit metropolitan area, so I guess it's still correct. Peace. Okay. All right. And we have Solomon Cobbs. Excuse name, please don't stop teaching. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna continue teaching.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu
Yes,
alaikum,
sir.
brother Solomon. I think I know who that brother is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So I want to go now to, let me see. I don't know if it's book 1 or book 2, but I have both books in front of me. Okay. How and why we fast in December. I believe that's it. But if that's not it, it's
That's
okay.
book 1. That's book 1.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's book 1.
Yes, sir.
So just bear with me
Page.
one moment. Page
You on
45.
page 45? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Let's see. Oh, before I even do that, right? I said I was going to show some proof. Well, you know what? I'll quote the messenger first, then I'll show the historical proof. The messenger says on page 45 of How to Eat to Live, book 1, in a chapter titled Why and How We Fast in December. Quote, I have chosen for quite a few years the month of December for my followers to fast as in the month of Ramadan. It serves as a sign that we, the lost and found nation, are the end of all signs pertaining to the pilgrimage and fasting in the month of Ramadan. Boom. End quote. Okay. I have to share this. I have to share some historical information now. Let me see. He said, as the end. He said, it serves as a sign that we, the lost and found nation, are the end of all signs pertaining to the pilgrimage and fasting in the month of Ramadan. If we look at the very last Ramadan of the Muslims, while Prophet Muhammad was still present, which in other words, the end, right? Which would be 631 AD. Okay, Brother Ahmed, tell me if you could see on the screen, because I'm actually hosting this, so I can't see. Is this I just shared some historic, actually the Islamic Hijra calendar, a screenshot of Ramadan as it was practiced in the year 631 AD. What dates do you have there on
It says December the 1st, 631.
Okay, so that's December 1st.
Right.
Right? From December 1st. And hold on, let me go to the rest. We got more. And
the 29th.
Right. So, in other words, the first one, the first day of Ramadan in 631 AD, the very end of Ramadan, very end of the Prophet's life, right, or the Prophet's mission in life, started on December 1st, right, as we can see from the 1st all the way down to the 12th. And if we go further, we'll see from the 13th all the way down to the end, the 29th. And the proof of this, I'm going to include where you can find this at and research this for yourself. This is at HTTPS. The website is habibur.com, if I pronounce it right, /HIJRI/10/9, etc. Anyway, rather than me reading all of that, you can screenshot it or you can write it down and you can research this yourself. This has the dates that Ramadan in the traditional Islamic world has the dates from their start to the end from every Ramadan going all the way back to when they started up until now. So you can do the research and see that that was the very last or the very end, as the messenger said. I have chosen for quite a few years the month of December for my followers to fast as in the month of Ramadan. It serves as a sign that we, the lost and found nation, are the end of all signs pertaining to the pilgrimage and fasting in the month of Ramadan. Okay. All right. Let me see.
Because the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, passed away in June the following year.
Right. 632 AD. So he didn't participate in the following Ramadan. You know?
Right.
So that being said, so the messenger taught that fasting in the month of Ramadan, he said it's not a real fast for the gods on a God level, because a fast to us is, you know, going 48, 72, and even more hours without food. I know some gods that fasted for 40 days and just drank water. Some 20 days, 30 days, 9 days, 15 days. I'm not going to lie. The longest I've ever done was 5. I haven't reached that level yet, but I know I will one day, you know.
Well, I've done 3.
Yeah.
I used to do, I used to eat when I was younger and much healthier.
Right.
Eat every 3 days. So
Right.
I know what it does. I mean, you have a lot of energy, you know, if you do it right and you eat the right foods. But when you
Right.
eat, you have to eat. And Master Farad Muhammad used to tell the people that when you do those fasts, you have to eat 2 hours.
Right.
Eat for 2 hours straight. I mean, eat a meal.
Right.
Have some courses. You know.
Right.
So that's how you regain your energy, because we have to eat. What did the messenger teach us? The spirit needs food, water, huh?
Right.
All
Right.
right. Okay. Spirit needs food and water. How about
Right.
that?
Right. Absolutely. Because that
Mhm.
which we consider spirit, which is really just electromagnetic energy or radiation,
Uh-huh.
is it needs a base. Just like you can't have electricity without some type of physical material base to conduct it. Like you can't have electricity without physical wires or some type of physical device to conduct electricity, because even electricity is subjected to the law of physics. Now, I want to get to a popular quote that's often taken out of context, right?
Mm-hmm.
By many,
Mm-hmm.
right? When it comes to the messenger and this fasting with the Orthodox Muslim world. But before I do that, I just want to state that the messenger, the fast of the month of Ramadan, as taught by the messenger, we don't eat or drink anything from sunrise to sunset, right? And when
Right.
we do eat, he taught that we only eat fruits and vegetables. This is in book 2. In book 1, he said you're welcome to eat fish, but no land animals. So in other words, he's trying to get our people to purify during that particular time, because again, with the earth traveling at its fastest speed around the sun at that time, as it
Mm-hmm.
approaches its closest point to the sun, from the late fall, December to early January, that for us, there's more pressure, there's more torque on the planet, there's more pressure, there's more atmospheric pressure and things of that nature. So we definitely want to be purified. Plus, we're closest to the sun, so there's more solar power all throughout the earth. We can tap into that and harness and access that just by keeping our brains, our cells clean, our bodies clean, our minds clean. And there's a lot of things that we can do in ways we can benefit from that on. So there's a quote from the messenger, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is in How to Eat to Live, book 2, right? It's chapter 16, right? Now,
Okay.
this is the quote that I'm going to quote, and I'm going to put it back in context. It's been taken by many people out of context, right? He says, quote, "The Muslims, as I foresaid, do not eat nor drink from before sunrise until after the sun has set. If you take it, the fast of Ramadan, with them, you are doing the right thing until this evil world has vanished," right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, that being said, he said the Muslims, and their fast of Ramadan, and if you take it with them, you're doing the right thing until this evil world has vanished. Many followers of the messenger, or those who say they follow the messenger, have taken that out of context to mean that he's talking about fasting with the traditional Muslim world, or doing the traditional fast on the month of Ramadan based on the Hijra calendar. No, that is not what he's talking about. That particular calendar, again, was instituted in the year 638 AD, 6 years after the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, passed away. 638 AD. This calendar is actually a lunar calendar. It doesn't include the sun. And because it doesn't include the sun, it actually violates the Quran in 3 places. I'll point out the ayats, these places later on. But that being said, because it doesn't include the sun, it is actually 11 days short of a complete 365.2 days solar year. So it's actually 354 day calendar. And this is why every year the Ramadan on that particular system, on that particular calendar or tradition, begins 11 days prior to the date that it began the year before that. And then the following year it begins 11 days prior to that year, and so on and so forth. It's actually inconsistent because it's incomplete, right? Now, when he said the Muslims do not eat or drink before sunrise and after the sun is set, and if you take it, the fast of Ramadan with them, you're doing the right thing until this evil world vanishes. A lot of his followers, again, took that to mean the Muslims being the traditional Orthodox Muslims, and that he's talking to his followers and giving his followers the instruction to Ramadan or fast with them. One, I'm going to say I'm not here to critique or speak against the Ramadan of the traditional Muslim world. I'm just going to speak facts. But the messenger here, he was not referring to the traditional Muslim world as the Muslims. The Muslims that he's talking about are his followers. And the you that he's talking to is the Christians, or the 85%. Okay, here's the proof. All we got to do is just look at the chapter, which is chapter 15. Fasting is prescribed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think he's talking to? I'm going to read the contents of the chapter, right? He says, it is prescribed for us in the law of the religion of Islam, Holy Quran. All Muslims who respect fasting should take the fast of Ramadan. We are not taking the month of Ramadan as prescribed in the Quran. We take the Christians' month, December, the 12th month, instead of the 9th month. I'm going to elaborate on that also. He says, okay, this month I prescribe for you, who is he talking to fast the 12th month of the Christian year for the purpose of getting you away from the false teaching of the Jesus' birth on the 25th of December. God has taught me that he was born between the 1st and 2nd week of September and not December. This day, the 25th of December, right? Let me skip that. I'm gonna try to get right to the point. Okay. No, I don't have to skip it. This day, the 25th of December, he taught me was the birthday of that demon Nimrod, who was born in the 17th century of Moses' era before the birth of Jesus. He was so wicked, meaning Nimrod, that the scholars and scientists of the scripture of the prophets do not like to teach you of this history of Nimrod. And if it was the birth date of that righteous prophet Jesus, you most certainly in your celebration of the 25th of December have not been showing a clean and holy celebration of a righteous person with your drunkenness and your gambling. Who does it sound like this?
He's
you
talking to the
is?
Christians.
Right.
He's warning the Christians.
Yes, the 85%. This is not describing his followers. The you that he's talking to in this chapter, this whole context is not his followers. I'm going to continue on. He says, your everything but right is committed on the 25th day of December in celebrating the birth of a righteous man. But you are not doing so for righteousness. You are celebrating the birth of an evil person, and the white Christians will send you all the whiskey and beer and wine and swine that you want to eat and drink on that day. Now, how, end quote, now, how in the world is that his followers? How can the you that he's talking to be his followers? That is clearly not describing his followers.
See,
am I right or wrong?
That's right. See, when that's what happens when people take things out of context,
right,
and twist the words of the messenger and Allah to suit their purposes.
Right.
No. Right.
Right. Right. Now,
see, we're not Arabs. We're not a lunar-based culture.
No, not at all.
Moon-based. We're not on the moon.
Right. We're soul people.
We're soul people. We're not lunatics. We, no, we do it. We are sun and Sirius. Look at those 2 dates where we had the night of power between January the 1st and the 3rd, right?
Right.
And this relates. Then you had July the 4th.
July the
Those
4th,
are 2
right.
important dates for us.
Yes.
July the 4th and the night of powers.
Right.
Okay, in January.
Because
this is science we're dealing with. We're dealing with science. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught science. He did not teach religion.
Right. Right, because when he taught that Master Farad Muhammad made his appearance and announcement on July 4th, 1930, that July 4th is exactly 180 degrees from January 1st on, if we look at the calendar there, it's a 100, they're exactly apart. They're 180 degrees apart. It's split down the middle, So one is when the earth is closest to the sun, which is January 1st through the 3rd. The other is when the earth is furthest away from the sun, So those are 2 important dates. There's also the spring equinox and the autumn equinox, which I won't get into that history, but those also play key roles in Nation of Islam history, which, again, that's for another time. But to continue on with the messenger's quote, right? He says, and this bears witness to what I stated before about the lunar calendar being short of a full year. He says, quote, on page 56, Ramadan is the 9th month of the Arab year, which is also 12 months and 9 months. The Holy Quran teaches that 12 months has always been a year with Allah. We are not able to satisfy the astronomers if we do not have a 12-month year, for it takes the Earth 12 months to make its complete circuit around the sun, and this is why we call it 1 year after its completion of this circuit made by the Earth, as an average distance of 93 million miles. Right? Okay. Now it says Ramadan, the Holy Quran teaches us, is the month that the Holy Quran was revealed to Muhammad, and they worship the month by abstaining from eating and drinking during the daytime from sunup to sundown, or before the sun rises until after she sets in the western skies. Then he says, then after dark, we can eat and drink until the sun rises again the next day. The significances of this Arabic fasting in Ramadan is that the spiritual darkness of Yaqub's made man, quote unquote, the white race, eating and drinking, sport and play was the order of the white world until the daybreak of truth coming in the first of the 7,000 years after the 6,000 years of spiritual darkness and evil of the white man's world. We are living now in a bright spiritual world of Allah, the great Mahdi, in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praises due forever. Therefore, we are not children of darkness, but the children of light and truth. See, end quote. We're not children of the moon. We're not lunar. He said we're the children of light and truth.
Right.
Now, oh man, there's so much that we can go on. Let me see if there's anything else that I want to share. Okay, we got Supreme Scientist again. Indeed, thank you for the information, brothers. Peace. Indeed, peace, brother. Peace to the God, Supreme Scientist. Indeed.
Yes,
and
sir.
we have Black Body Radiation. Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum salam. Thanks for joining us again, bro. Yeah, we love having you on. You join on all the time, and your add-ons contribute, to the podcast, So let's see, where were we? Where exactly were we? Again, this is no notes. We going straight off. Okay, boom. We going straight off the top. Let's see, the month of December. Where was I? Where was I at? What was I going to show? Okay. Next time I'm going to take some bullet points because I had so much in my head. I had so much in my head that okay, it's coming back to me now, but next time I will take the bullet points. Now, if we study history, right?
Yes, sir.
In the Asiatic world, one of our main calendars was a calendar year that began its day the day after the spring equinox. So historically, we didn't begin the new year on January 1st. We began our new year the day after the spring equinox. And I have a video on this that I did about 2 or 3 years ago on this YouTube channel. You can look it up, titled A Year in the Asiatic World. I'll probably include a link to that video inside the description. Okay, that being stated, right, this calendar year that began its first day after the spring equinox, began the first day of the first month. The 9th month of this calendar year actually began and still does begin, because it's still being used and in place, at the end of November towards the end of December. I'm going to say maybe the 23rd or 4th of November, 22nd, 3rd or 4th, up until the 21st of December, the winter solstice, right? The Greeks, when they went into Egypt, Kemet, whatever we choose to call it, and they went into the temple of, I don't want to misquote it. I think it was no. It was a particular temple. They call it today the Temple of Luxor. And they went inside. I think that's what it is. And they found on the top, on the ceiling of this temple, a large sculpture calendar engraved in the ceiling. This calendar was a calendar that our people use in that area, the Egyptian Nile River Peninsula, the Arabian, that whole so-called Holy Land area, or the quote-unquote best part of the planet, as the lessons and the messengers teach. This calendar, the Greeks took it. It's in France right now. I forgot the name of the museum they have it in, but they call it the calendar of Dendera.
Yeah.
Dendera, and they renamed it the Zodiac. right? And the first month, the signs that they said on the zodiac were actually originally months practiced by the original people. So that first sign that they say Aries, which is they say a fire sign, was really the first month. And if you notice, it begins the day after the spring equinox, right? That the ninth sign that they call in astrology on the zodiac was originally the ninth month that the original people practiced along the Arabian Peninsula and along the Nile Valley. This ninth month, or that they renamed Sagittarius, that ninth sign, this was actually a month for us, which is also a fire element. Like some of the months had different elements. Some were water, some were air, some were earth, some were fire. So this ninth month was the month of Ramadan. That's the actual month of Ramadan of the Holy Quran. That the messenger said that we're not practicing, because the ninth month of the Holy Quran, right, would actually be or correspond with what they refer to, the Greeks refer to as Sagittarius, which begins around November 22nd, 23rd, up until December 21st, right? That is a fire element, and they say that Ramadan means what? Heat and dry, right? That's now we're dealing with cosmology. It's symbolic to fire in cosmology. So, yeah, there's so much. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so you mentioned that zodiac of Denzera.
Right.
Well, in the book that I have here, Nile Valley Contribution to Civilization,
right,
on page 181, they said said during the excursion in Egypt, the savants saw many objects that were no longer in existence, such as the temple of Aramat, which was decimated when the stones were used to build a sugar factory. Then it went on further to state, in 1799, this French general discovered the marvelous temple of Dendera, which contained a wonderful so-called circular zodiac in the ceiling of the room.
Right.
Okay, and he believed that to be an observatory. The zodiac was dynamited from the ceiling by his men and shipped to France, where it was later sold to Louis I think it's the 13th, King Louis the 13th or the 18th, for 150,000 francs, and is now prominently displayed in the Louvre Museum.
Okay.
Isn't that something?
Wow. So yeah, that basically you just corroborated what I had stated earlier. I remember doing some research on this, but I didn't take down any notes to read from.
Yeah, this was in the. Isn't that something?
Right.
It's
Oh
thieves,
yeah.
Robbers and thieves.
Yeah. Yeah. So then they took it, right? And then they added stuff to it, took stuff away from it, and they made it into some type of source of entertainment, which they call astrology today. They call astrology, which, is not an exact science.
You got the 24 elders on that zodiac too, don't you, bro?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You got the 12 major, the 12 minor, you got the 4, you got the solstices, the equinox, the animals that are on there. You notice like in the Quran and Bible, you see those animals mentioned in the book of Revelations, symbolically representing people. Some of them are the chapters in the Quran were named after some of these animals and animal totems and symbols and signs. It's so much in it, but yeah, but man, let me see what these comments. Hanif Rashid Way. Yeah, Allah Salam, Hanif Rashid Ray. Thanks for participating. We want to thank everybody that has participated, that is participating, and everybody that will listen. We want to ask everybody to like, share, comment, subscribe, offer your piece. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning as I'm sharing as well. So what parts have we covered so far, Brother Ahmed, if you remember?
Well, we covered
if you could
quite a bit.
Synopsis. Yeah, we did.
We covered the main reason why the messenger have us to do Ramadan in December.
Right.
Well, you prove that.
Right.
Quranically
we
and
also
scientifically.
Right. We proved that in the Quran, proved through science, and we showed through history that the very last Ramadan practiced by Prophet Muhammad, was
Was done
we
was done
showed
on the
through
dates that
history
we
was
do it. December
right,
1st to the
right,
29th, right?
right, to the very end of December, correct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. And that was
All
in
right.
chapter, I was in How to Eat Live book when I was 15. I was at 45. I was chapter 45. I just want to touch that again, where he
Mm-hmm.
said that I had chosen for quite a few years. Let me just add this for those that just came on. I want to put that part again. That was for real. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got black body radiation. Let me see. Let's see. Oops. Trying to highlight just a second. I want to actually include that one more time. Okay. So here it is. I brought it up on the screen again. We can see historically that the Ramadan that Prophet Muhammad practiced, the very last Ramadan, or at the Ramadan at the end of his mission in life,
Mm-hmm.
at the very end, the last one that he practiced, which was 631 AD, it corresponded or began, it commenced on what would be today, the 1st of December,
On a
and
Sunday.
right on a Sunday. Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that and pointed that out.
Huh.
And it extended from the 1st of December up until the 29th or 30th of December, the very end.
Another Sunday.
Wow, another Sunday. Look at that.
Scientific.
Very
Scientific.
scientific because it's the sun.
Right.
It all corresponds with the sun. You know what I'm saying?
Muhammad was a black man, wasn't he?
Exactly. Exactly. And here's the messenger quote here where he said, I have chosen for quite a few years the month of December for my followers to fast in as the month of Ramadan. It serves as a sign that we, the lost and found nation, are the end, just like I said earlier, the end of all signs pertaining to the pilgrimage and fasting in the month of Ramadan.
Right.
Wow.
The
Wow.
Prophet
And
brought science. He didn't bring
yes,
religion.
right. And
Prophet Muhammad
I'm
brought
going to,
science. He did
right.
not bring religion. Okay.
And everybody that wants to find out where they can verify that history, they can see it here at, let's see, I'm gonna pull it up on the screen again. I can't pronounce it. So happybird.com, but however way it's pronounced, you can screenshot it, you can write it down, you can put it in the put in URL or put it in the web address, and you can do the research yourself. You can find the history of every Ramadan, the date that every Ramadan began and ended since they started practicing it, according to this modern Islamic, context. So yeah, I'm wondering if there's anything that I did not mention or I meant to left out. Okay, yeah, another thing. Ramadan is also, or Sirius rather, not just Ramadan. Sirius, the star of Ramadan, the star of revelation, the star of Ramadan, has also been referred to as the autumn star. Again, Sirius is the southernmost star of the winter triangle. Again, Surah 53, which is titled Al-Najm, the star, a Meccan surah, right? Verse 49, it mentions the star Sirius by name. That's the only star the Holy Quran mentions by name. And this particular star makes its appearance in the autumn by the star when it sets. Its setting position, meaning it's seen in the southern skies at night, traveling from east to west. So historically, here's another reference for everybody that's all the viewers. You can look up the book, The Iliad of Homer. And inside the Iliad of Homer, the star Sirius is mentioned and referred to as the autumn star. Right? Sirius also is related to the word seer, which means I think it was a seer. I can't remember, shear, or I had to go back and do my research on it, but basically means to sear or to burn. So again, corresponding with that 9th month, which the Greeks renamed Sagittarius, a fire element, fire month, heat, dry, et cetera, et cetera. Even though for us, we know it's not hot because, it's wintertime around that time. But again, as I showed in the astronomy, I showed exactly why it's winter for us, those of us in the Northern Hemisphere around that time, even though it's the Earth is closest to the sun. So yeah, that was just pretty much a recap of what we discussed earlier. Again, there were no notes taken. This is all information coming off the dome.
And Allah is the Lord of Sirius.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Okay. And Orion, and then Osiris and Asur, the Kemet name, okay,
Right.
of this god.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It's the Lord of the perfect black.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right. In fact, I'm going to share something. I'm going to share this one more time. Let me see. For those that actually, I had shared this earlier and I stopped it beforehand, but I want to share some more the science behind the Earth approaching the sun, or being at its closest point to the sun at around January 1st through the 3rd, and the Earth, what happens, why it speeds up on its orbit. So I'm going to play that again because I stopped it prematurely last time. Here it goes.
Okay. Welcome to our lecture online, and now let's take a look at the Earth's orbit. Most of us know that the Earth's orbit is not circular, it is actually an ellipse. And of course, the person who finally figured that out was Kepler. And a few other things that Kepler figured out, because we of course now know the 3 laws of Kepler. And one of those 3 laws was that the Earth, since it's closer at some point in its orbit here, which we call the perihelion, when the Earth is at its closest point to the sun, and at some point the Earth will be at its farthest point to the sun, we call that the aphelion. Now it turns out that the aphelion coincides with the summer for the northern hemisphere, where most of the people live on the Earth, and perihelion corresponds to the winter for the northern hemisphere. What Kepler said was that the Earth actually moves in its orbit faster when it's closest to the sun, and it moves slower when it's farther from the sun. Of course, it wasn't until a few hundred years later, when physicists figured out about kinetic and potential energy, that we understood why that was so. Kepler simply used the information that he inherited from Tycho Brahe, which was a very famous astronomer, and studied that information, and finally figured out that the Earth does go around an elliptical orbit, and when it does, it moves faster when it's here, and it moves slower when it's there.
Okay, so that just wanted to put that out there. Now, I'm gonna point out these two, this aspect of the Earth's orbit around the sun, these 2 important dates, and then we're gonna close on that. The 1st of January, right? We see the star Sirius at 12 a.m. What they call the Devil's New Year's Eve, right? At 12 a.m., 12 on the dot. If we look straight up in the sky, not east, not west, but straight horizontally north, 180 degrees up, we'll see the star Sirius right in mid-heavens, right? That's the Ramadan star. That's the night of power, right? And the 4th of July, that's when the Earth is actually furthest away from both the sun and the star Sirius. Again, the reason why it's so hot for us is because even though the Earth is furthest away from the sun, the North Pole is facing both the sun and the star Sirius. So the star Sirius, that's stellar power from that star Sirius, along with the sun's light, it actually makes the sun's light brighter and more hot. So if you notice, between that 1st and 2nd week of July, the sun's light is the brightest, it's the hottest, it's the most intense. And that's why they call those days the dog days of summer, in reference to that quote unquote dog star of the doggone tribe, Sirius. You know, right. Yes. And those 2 days, the Earth on those 2 particular dates, on the 1st of January, between the 3rd of January, is on a 180-degree alignment with the sun and the star Sirius. But on the 1st of January, it's between both the sun and the star Sirius. It's at its closest point to the sun and the star Sirius. And on the 4th of July, it's on the exact opposite. It makes another 180-degree alignment with the sun and the star Sirius, but it's furthest away from both the sun and the star Sirius. We're furthest away during that particular time. So that's another subject for another time, when we deal with astronomy and history and how it corresponds to our history here in the wilderness of North America, our mental resurrection and overall resurrection back to our original position that we were in before our fall, which was the gods of the universe and the cream of the planet Earth, the rulers and the lords of the planet Earth as well. So that being said, I have pretty much offered everything that I had to offer. Let me see. We have more comments. Black body radiation. Thank you, my brother. Indeed, bro. Thank you for participating. Yeah, Black Body Radiation again says, it's my pleasure to be on your phenomenal show, Lord. Salam Allah. Allah salam. Indeed.
Salam.
Indeed.
I have something here. Here's something to ponder over.
Yes,
Master
sir.
Farad Muhammad in his lessons mentioned the star is 72 trillion years old. Could that be serious?
Right. 7, 2, 8, 9. You know, I'm looking at the math. I immediately start running numbers in the math. I start running
99 actual
numbers in my head.
facts.
Right.
99 actual facts. He says the sun is 14,000. Oh, excuse me. The sun is 78 trillion years old.
Right.
The star is 72 trillion years old. The moon is 66 trillion years old.
Right. You know, it's interesting that you pointed out about the star being 72 trillion years old. The star has 5 points, the star on our flag, and each point is 72 degrees apart.
Right.
And if you multiply, 72 times 5, that's 360 degrees. I personally believe that it is speaking about the star Sirius. I don't believe that it's speaking of all the stars, you know, because new stars are born and dying all the time. So that has to be speaking about a specific star.
Right. Because he mentioned at the age of a star, the star.
Right.
Sun, moon, and star. The star in our flag is Sirius.
Right. Actually, well, you know what? You brought up a good point. I thought I saw somebody shared it where the messenger said that the star was the planet Venus or that morning star, but I'm not, you know, that's a good point. That's another point that we can discuss sometime in the future.
Well, you know, he's Venus too, the messenger, because you see that's the star that comes up right before the sunrise.
Right.
And the messenger was getting us acquainted with the son of man. Okay.
Right.
Oh, God's son.
Right.
You know, so there's a lot of science and symbolism. That's why we don't dismiss anything. We know, like we say, always research, verify, don't dismiss anything out of hand.
Right.
We must be wise and rational.
Right.
Because none of these men that we're talking about, that we try to emulate in our daily lives, the God, the Supreme Allah, Master Farad Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, they brought science. They did not bring religion. Okay, all the prophets and messengers brought science.
Right.
They did not bring religion. Okay. Master Farad Muhammad brought actual facts, not beliefs.
Right.
Brought knowledge.
Yeah, we have oh, sorry, go ahead, bro.
Go ahead, brother.
I said we got Brother Naeem. He gives us the greetings. Assalamu alaikum all. Wa alaikum assalam, Brother Naeem. We appreciate you joining us on this podcast. We covered a lot. I would love to go over it again, but for time's sake, you know.
Yeah, this is, I think you did great, brother. You gave a lot of information for people to play this video back, take notes, and research.
Right. Yes.
Take notes.
Yes, please.
Research. That's all.
Yeah, please research. Research each one of these points that I brought forth, you know, and come back and correct me if you have any information that shows me an error. I'm always open to correction because I'm about truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be right all the time, not in an arrogant way, but in a real way. I want to be right. So if you have information that's right and exact, bring it to me and I'm going to examine it, you know?
Because Sirius is a very important star amongst our people, because even the Kemites, you know, for people who are into Egyptology, that star regulated the annual inundation of the Nile River, you know.
Right. Yeah, so exactly.
You know, and so also they used Sirius to make the correction on their calendar. The Egyptians did. So, you know, it's something to it. It's the God
fact,
star.
I would even say it's like you said, Kemet, now Riley, I'll bring it back to Shabazz. The messenger said on June 4th, 1972, Theology of Time, he said he was he pointed to him in the southeastern skies one evening, 2 stars, a red and a blue one. And he said that whenever these stars, he said it'd be 50,000 years before these stars reappear. After they disappear from the night sky, it'd be 50,000 years before they reappear. He said every time they reappear, it symbolizes or brings about universal change. I'm paraphrasing, right?
Yes.
Those two stars were Sirius A and Sirius B.
Right.
The Sirius A and Sirius B, they have indigenous names, but there's actually Sirius A, Sirius B, and even a Sirius C, you know?
Yes, it is.
And Sirius A and Sirius B, if you do a research on it, they say they make a bow around each other every 49.9 years. And if we go to Surah 53, Ayat 49 of the Holy Quran, it mentions the star Sirius by name. Brother Ahmed, let me see. See, Hanif Rashid Ray says, keep teaching professors and scientists. Indeed, God, indeed. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you, brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir. Alaikum salam. Yeah, if you keep, we want to keep feeding if you keep receiving. But Brother Ahmed, I want to close out. But
yes,
before
sir.
I close out, I want you to if you had shared something from the blog you had a blog that you put on your you shared something that I wrote about the Sabbath or the Sirius on the blog. If you don't mind sharing that again, I just want to close on that note.
Yes, this is I'm gonna post it on your wall,
right,
on your Facebook page. But this is concerning number 7, and this is something you wrote back in, like I said, September 2019.
Okay.
You want me to read the whole thing, or you want me to say for the people to look it up for themselves? Because you got a lot on here.
You know what? You know what? Go with the spirit tells you. You know, we got sometimes, I try to keep it under 2 hours. We got plenty of time to go, but if you want to read just pieces of it, because like you did in the beginning, you read just the important parts that was relevant to the subject. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How you want to do it?
I want to do it like this. I'm going to post this article of yours, this essay.
Okay.
On your wall.
Okay. I'll also include it inside the description as well in this video.
Yeah. And see, it's a lot to unpack here. This is something that you just don't read. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
This is something that you have to study, because see, you have just like I said here, you're breaking down the number 7. You have a verse from the Bible. Seek him that maketh the 7 stars in Orion. The Lord is his name. That's the book of Amos, 5 verse 8. All right. You went over this already. 7 squared, or 7 times 7 equals 49.
Right.
Quote, and he, Allah, is the Lord of Sirius. Holy Quran 53, the start of verse 49, Maulana Muhammad edition. You go on to talk about the 7 inhabited planets. So you're going into the significance of 7.
Right.
All right. So it's a lot to unpack here.
Right.
So I would like to just post this essay on the wall. I won't do it justice just reading it.
Got it.
It's something to study. Our people don't. We got to stop spoon feeding people. So let's let them study. This is our job. So this is a great article. This is a great essay. And
yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. This is. I missed a lot in here, brother. This is a lot in here, because see, you got the Book of Revelation verses in here that add up to 7. You got me?
Yes, sir.
It's a lot in here to unpack. You're dealing with the lessons from Master Farad Muhammad in this about the 7 dimensions of the black man's mind. Because this is nothing you just read over the air. So I'm going to post it on your wall, bro. Reading it won't do it justice. No, bro. I ain't gonna do you like that. We ain't gonna do that. Yes, sir. So I'm gonna post this essay on your wall, and I hope the people avail themselves of it. Read this and study it. This is some good teachers on here that you laid out. You go about 7, but you went into the star, Sirius, Orion, and different Bible verses. They pointed to Sirius.
Right.
So it was right along with what you were talking about today. But see how you thinking. This time last year, you were thinking about the same thing.
Oh wow! So what was the date of that article that I first posted it? September 7th.
Yes.
Okay. Around the same
you're dealing
time.
with 7. Yeah, you're dealing with 7.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay, we got a comment.
That's right. So I'm going to go ahead and post this now on your wall on Facebook.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna share it myself on the 7th. I said I was on, which is tomorrow, not the 7th, on the 7th day, Saturday, because I originally made that
Oh,
was a
okay.
Sabbath something to it. I mean, you could share it on my wall now, but I'm gonna post it myself on a Saturday. That's like a Sabbath study, something to study for the
Hmm.
Sabbath to get into the sciences. We have Naeem. Said extend the time, beloved. He said extend the time. Yeah, I would. I mean, like I said, I would love to. I mean, we went over some stuff. This is some we put some explosives here that I would like everybody to, again, if you go back and watch the recording, to take pen and pad, take paper, pause it, take down, notes, do some research, and feed yourselves. This video is a piece of fish or one loaf of bread, and you could feed, feed yourself, feed the multitudes. You know what I mean? This is an example. I'm not saying nothing about myself like that. I'm just saying, there's so much that you can get out of it just by studying those points, because I wish I was able to put everything that I knew about this subject inside this podcast, but for time's sake and brevity, I can't and I wouldn't do it. I want to respect everybody's time, all y'all's time. So, but if
Hmm.
you were to research those points, you would come across a lot of the stuff that I know, and even some of the stuff that I don't even know yet. So let me see. Let's see. Got another Masani. Allah, peace, true build, peace. We appreciate your you tuning in and watching and participating. We want everybody to like, comment, share, subscribe,
Right.
share it on your social medias. We have Black Body Radiation. Speaking of the days of Allah, Yellowstone had an interesting. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Yellowstone had an interesting quake swarm yesterday. There were 96 quakes. Many quakes were downgraded. Downgraded. I can't read that. Anyway, but an Old Faithful was 30 minutes late and not so faithful.
Wow.
Hmm.
Man, I hope that don't blow anytime soon.
Hey,
Man, let me tell you, if
yeah.
that thing blows, yo, half the United States will be gone.
What is that you speaking about?
I'm about Yellowstone. That's a volcano sit at Yellowstone National Park.
Right.
That's a volcano.
Uh,
If that you look where it is located. Look at
right.
Yellowstone on the map and see what happens if what you think will happen if that thing blows
Right.
and the earthquake behind it
Right.
and the damage behind it.
Right.
Let
Oh,
me
yeah.
be somewhere else.
Right.
Because we feel it. I feel it here where I'm at.
Right. Man,
You know,
hey, Brother
probably
Ahmed, what
wouldn't
did you?
probably wouldn't even have a summer.
Probably not. I mean, what did you say this morning? You said we talked about the skies over in California.
Oh yeah.
And you quoted the messenger and put it in perfect context. Now, I remember seeing pictures people posted online about the color of the sky in California, and I thought they were photoshopped. I'm like, okay, yeah, they exaggerating, whatever. I usually see stuff and I think it's fake. But then a friend of mine that lives out in California sent me pictures that they took and the video.
Mm-hmm.
And those weren't photoshopped at all, and you quoted the messenger. What quote did you quoted the messenger in that particular context, if you don't mind sharing it again for
Yeah,
the
it
listening
was in the
audiences, because the skies are orange out there.
right.
The
The
day
messenger
skies
was
are red.
warning us. Yeah, the messenger was warning us in the fall of America. He said, one day we would look up instead of seeing a blue sky, we would see one that was red on fire.
Mm.
And so look at that.
Right.
I know this is a sign because he was talking about in reference to mother's plane being used and setting the atmosphere on fire, and all that science with the seventh angel setting the atmosphere on fire, what have you. But look at the sky over California. It looked
Right.
just like he described.
Right.
That's a
Right.
sign. That does. Hey, see, one gentleman one brother was on the news. He said he stepped outside. He thought he was in an apocalyptic movie. He thought it was the
Right.
end of the world the way it was looking.
Right.
And the ashes falling from the sky. Yeah,
Right.
that's apocalyptic.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
White
That's it.
man's America is falling.
Right. Yeah, so I'm glad that Black Body Radiation did
Yeah,
mention the days of I mentioned
yeah,
that, because it just reminded me of a point that I wanted to go over or touch rather.
yeah. It's falling, bro.
Yep. Naeem says it's understood. I'll go over the video, missed the majority, but we'll review. Okay, not a problem. But Naeem, we went over some stuff, but yeah. And it was, like I said, there was no notes. I mean, I just had some things that I wanted to share, some proofs, some historic proofs, astronomy proofs, some scientific proofs, showing and proving the factuality and the accuracy of the messenger's choice of the month of December and as Ramadan. He didn't choose it because it was the shortest month, or the days are the shortest. In fact, December has 31 days, one. Two, in the wintertime, the body burns more calories trying to keep warm. Just to keep warm, the body burns more calories. So you actually have a desire to eat more in the winter, to keep warm.
Right.
Three, Santa Claus and Christmas, that was for the 85%. Clearly,
Right.
that quote that many Muslims take out of context, where he says, if you do the fast of Ramadan with the Muslims, you're doing the right thing. Many Muslims believe that he was talking to his followers, saying that they can take the fast of Ramadan with the traditional Muslim world. But I showed in this podcast previously and proved that that was not the case. The Muslims that he was talking about were his followers, and the people that he were talking to were the 85%,
Exactly.
Black Christians.
Exactly.
Okay, so Naeem says, remember 67th year, Allah Master Farad Muhammad gets to show his power in full display. Okay, indeed. All right. So, all right, yeah, we're gonna, what is this? An hour. We did this in an hour, under an hour and a half. All right. If there's anything that you want to add on, Brother Ahmed, or anybody in the comments, any questions anybody has in the comment section. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes,
I mean, you covered quite a bit, and you had the videos there. You did a very good job of explaining, that we're not dealing with so much religion and
right.
and tradition. We're dealing with science,
Right. Okay.
and it's a reason why we fast.
Right.
It's a reason for the fast. It's a reason why it was scheduled for the date of the schedule, December 1st,
Right.
and
Right.
leading us into another day of power.
Right.
The night of power.
Right.
This is all for our benefit.
Right. Right. Yes, sir. Yep. So yeah, in fact, and before I do close out, and I keep saying that, but not just Ramadan, but even in Islam, the times that people pray, it's all based on the sun. It's all based on the sun, the positioning of the earth in relation to the sun, because it all has benefits on the anatomy and physiology, mentality, spirituality, whatever you choose to call it, of the original people, of all people, but especially the original people.
Right.
Melanin dominant original people. So yeah, those are our days.
Right. We're gonna have to start worrying about ourselves.
Right.
Like you've been saying here recently, we tribing up. Start worrying about what's beneficial for yourself.
Right.
Allah
Right.
came to give us a benefit and make us successful, that we could see the hereafter. We got to be mentally fit, spiritually fit, physically fit,
Right.
So
Right.
uh and well versed and well studied,
Right.
not blind followers. We have to be.
Right.
We have to know the reason why we do certain things. There's a
Right.
reason for it. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just don't be doing it.
Right. Yeah, I had a little bit of okay,
sorry.
stop now.
Yeah. Don't be blind following. Like we said the other times. Don't blindly follow a righteous person.
Right.
That's right. Verify all information that comes before you.
Right. And I want to invite everybody listening to this video live, as well as those that's listening to the recording. You don't even have to be part of the quote unquote Nation of Islam, or see yourselves a follower of the messenger or God, we invite everybody to join us in this coming Ramadan from December 1st to December 30th. We don't eat from sunrise to sunset. We eat the best of foods, fruits and vegetables. No land animals. If we do eat any type of flesh, the messenger okayed fish, clean fish, that is. No catfish, no crawfish, no shellfish, shrimp, crab, lobster. the cleaner fish, the carnivores. I mean, not the carnivores. I'm tripping. No, not the carnivores. The herbivores, the fish that eat plants. You know, we invite everybody to. That's if you eat any flesh at all. You know, but we prefer if you can do vegetarian. We invite everybody to join us and participating in this coming December Ramadan. We all need it. This Gregorian cycle 2020 has been crazy. It's been hectic, and it's definitely needed for all of us to get ourselves. A lot of us put on quarantine weight, you know, with this fake pandemic. A lot of people really got sick, you know. We really want to utilize this time to get our minds right, to detox of all the psyops and the filth that the devil's put on the people with just a whole bunch of mental junk. You know, we want to detox from all that mentally, and we want to detox physically. We want to lose some of that weight. We want to get ourselves right for this coming cycle. You know, you don't have to be a follower of anything or down with anything. Just join us. This is for everybody. We're inviting you to do it for your own benefit, for all of our benefit. So, let me see. Another comment from Black Body Radiation. Yeah.
I mean, people shooting at us this year, huh?
Right.
You got me?
Yeah.
All angles. Angles. You got, like you see, this has been a trauma for many people.
Right.
You know?
Right. Comment from Black. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, bro. Ahmed, go ahead.
Sorry. He said the star in our flag was Venus. Sirius is a trinary system of pulsars. It's possible it could be referring to Sirius 72 trillion years. Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, he says possible that the 72 trillion years he could be referring to Sirius. We both came to that. We both thought of that's what that's the conclusion Ahmed. In fact, I heard him mention that first to me. Maybe it's a couple of years ago that he said that he believed I was talking about the star Sirius. You know, a specific star. You know, you know, stars are born and stars die all the time for eternity. It's always been that way. It said Nation of Islam has no birth record. It has no beginning nor ending. It's older than the sun, moon, and stars. So, I mean, yeah. Okay.
So that star is called the blazing star by other societies.
Right.
They had the people believing that they were talking about the sun, but they too were talking about Sirius.
Right.
You know.
Right.
They know who I'm talking about. So but see, all these cultures, Sirius is very important, as we see, right?
Yes, sir.
All the various cultures dealing with Sirius, one way or the other. So it's something to that star. It's mentioned in the Holy Quran. That tells you how important it is, and that Allah is associated with that star.
Right.
But like you said, that's the star of revelation.
Right.
Master Farad Muhammad, during that time period, during that star, revealed himself to Muhammad, right? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right?
Right. Right. Yes, sir. It's in the early fall, as he said, in 1931, page 36.
And the messenger pointed him out. Isn't that something?
Yep.
Remember?
Yes, sir. Yep. Exactly.
Honorable Elijah Muhammad pointed him out. Be the one that the scripture is talking about.
All right.
And he was warned not to say anything. Master Farad Muhammad told the messenger not to say anything. Who would have believed him anyway, right?
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to that. It's a lot of science in
definitely.
that. And history. But like you said, the messenger didn't at that time. No, he wouldn't have known he was fulfilling prophecy. Not according to the Quran, to the Holy Quran. No, he wouldn't have known that. Master Farad Muhammad knew.
Right. Right.
They tell me Master Farad Muhammad has the messenger's address 6 years before he met the messenger even seen him. How about that?
Yeah. You're hearing I don't know if you hear it. There's like it sounds like something's brushing or something in the background. I don't know if it's static. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's my mic brushing up against my shirt. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And now it's gone. Well, yeah, it sounds it's going now.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna wrap this up here.
You're welcome, brother. 988. Assalamu alaikum. His brother said, "Thank you, brothers. Good wisdom shared." Well, you're
Yes,
welcome,
sir.
brother. Yeah, you're
You're
welcome.
welcome. We appreciate it. We definitely
Hmm.
appreciate you tuning in.
What?
Share, like, comment, subscribe. What you was about to say, Brother Ahmed?
This has been wonderful. I thank you for inviting me on to ride with you today.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Yes,
And
sir.
you did a great
Thank
job, brothers, for impromptu. You know, we were just going on what we knew. You did have some. You gave out some very good information for the people to study, and I emphasize study and
Right,
applying.
right,
So you gave them something to study, and once they study it, they can apply it and know the reasons why they're doing what they're doing.
right,
So that's like the whole purpose.
right.
That's the whole point. Yes,
Getting
sir.
out of
Great
blind
job.
following.
Right, right. Away from that completely. You see it.
Right,
You see what trouble we got ourselves in being that way.
right. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Blind following. Right,
blind follow. Got yourself in a world of trouble.
right.
You know, dangerous trouble. You
Yep.
know, yeah. So you say,
Yeah.
please continue to the end of the years, brothers. Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
All praises due to Allah.
Oh, oh yeah, we bringing it. We definitely gonna bring it. I love bringing information. I like to see how people learn and grow from knowledge because this is seeds. We want to plant the good seeds. We know that the good seeds are going to germinate on good soil. We're going to continue bringing it. There's another podcast that I'll be doing more than likely this Sunday. It's part 2 of the eugenics, the science of selective mating
Mm,
podcast that I did about a month or so ago, and we're going to get into more details. When we look and we study that podcast, we're going to see the value in the restrictive laws that
mhm.
Master Fard Muhammad brought in the overall teachings, the dietary law. It's man, all of it, the restrictive laws, the dietary laws, it's all designed to upgrade our genetics so that way we
Mhm.
can and will produce superior and higher IQ children that will not be subjected to the rule of the children of the people whose civilization came to an end in the year 1914. So they started to become more and more uncivilized since then, and they became more and more degenerate, and therefore their children became more and more dumber, lower and lower
Exactly.
IQs. So
Yeah.
as they go down, we go up, and
Right.
that's how we take over.
They practically dumb as rocks.
Right.
See, I'm a little older than you, and I've seen the difference.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I've seen the difference in the different types of Caucasians that I've had to deal with in my lifetime. They're pretty smart back in the day, brother.
Right.
All right. I don't know about now. They they're
Yeah.
dumb as they're almost as dumb as their ancestors were when Musa found them.
Right. Right.
They're a step from walking on their all fours right now.
Hmm.
They're a step away from doing it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, I'm being real
Yeah.
serious, but
Yeah.
it's something else, as they go down, and we shouldn't go down with them. I mean,
Right,
because
right. We
you
gotta
know,
rise. Let them
yeah,
go
yeah.
down.
Because see, Allah came here, Master Farad Muhammad. If we do what He say, like you said, we're gonna grow better people. He's gonna grow us into a new people.
Right, right. The new and perfect rulers. And we
Right.
gotta remember that's what the purpose of civilization teachings are for. Like the
Mm-hmm.
question asked, what is the meaning of civilization? Answer: one having knowledge, wisdom, understanding, cultural refinement, and is not savage in the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
Um, So when we have these things, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, refinement, we refine our DNA. We
Mm-hmm.
refine our genetics, we upgrade them. So if there's civilization, like question and answer number 35 of lesson 2 asks, what does it tell us the exact date of the expiration of the devil's civilization? Answer: expired in 1914. Again, civilization. See, some people take that, and I stated this in a previous podcast. Some people take that to mean, okay, well, why is he still here running around? And that's not civilization. He's
Mm-hmm.
running around things. Civilization. The lesson tells us what it means. So he started to become more and more uncivilized since then. That was the expiration date of him being civilized. So now he cannot produce, or in other words, because his civilization is becoming more and more degenerate, the IQ of his children is going to get lower and lower and more inferior. So that is how they eventually go down. Remember, the messenger said that this is a 1,000-year process. You know, he said inside on page 45 of How to Eat to Live, book 2. Was it 45? No, it was not 45. Oh, okay. It wasn't 45, but let me see. I was just reading it. Who robbed of some people? Okay, 1,000 years. He said on page 56 of How to Eat to Live, book 2.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think where the page 57, he speaks about, or 56 to 57, he speaks about the truth coming in the first of the 7,000 years after the 6,000 years of spiritual darkness and evil of the white man's world, right? Mm-hmm. So this is the first of the 7,000 years. He said it'll take 1,000 years to remove all the effects of Yaqub's civilization from the planet. So yeah, man, this is not a snap, hocus pocus, ta-da, spooky, magical. No, this is a process, you know. And if we're speaking about generations, the original people upgrading their genetics and our genetics through civilization teachings, and the grafted peoples downgrading their genetics and becoming more and more degenerate since the expiration date of their civilization in 1914. So, yeah, man, I ain't gonna get too much into technical terms.
Well, we have a comment. I just want to read this comment. This is from my big brother over there overseas, Brother El-Shabazz. And he says, mind-blowing information, Brother Sultan AnnurAllah and Minister Ahmed El-Shabazz. He says you took it to the next level so smoothly. Looking forward to the next presentation. Indeed, Shafiq Shabazz has been blessed to be alive to hear the upper crust speak the truth. Thank you, brothers, for bringing the heat. End quote. That's wonderful, brother. All praises due to Allah. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Okay, I don't even see that comment. That's interesting.
No, this is on Facebook.
It's on Facebook.
I got a notification on my Facebook, and he tagged us, and that was his quote.
Oh,
so that's great coming from older brother, old big brother, brother Shafiq Shabazz. That's a great business,
brother Ahmed.
Okay. Yes, sir. It's great to.
No, we thought you faded away. You back?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's great to get praise from your elders. Big brothers,
absolutely,
and big sisters. That makes us feel good. So
absolutely,
we're on the right page. So big brother said we was on the right page, so we got to keep it going. Okay?
Yes, sir. We appreciate that, brother Shafiq. In fact, brother Shafiq, the brother Wild Wolf, he was reading. We was going over some of your comments. I can't remember what post it was. We was going over some of your comments that you made. I think I might have made a post about virginity, virgin wise, or something to that effect, or eugenics. And he said we got to get that brother on the podcast. So if you're willing to participate, like I said, you just let me know. We actually have one likely coming up Sunday on that particular subject, part 2 of the Selective Mating Eugenics podcast with myself, Wild Wolf, and a couple of other guests. So, yeah. And let me see, black body radiation. He said those fires in Cali and Oregon are volcanic by nature. They are occurring along faults it's heat induction. Okay. And Naeem says, right at black body radiation, didn't even think of that. Okay, yeah, y'all can also comment amongst yourselves, indeed, but we looking at everything as well as we share. So just as we share.
California on fire. What did the messenger say about fire and water running side by side? That was another sign.
Oh yeah.
Look at California. Look at it, fire and water running side by side. Look at that.
Right.
See?
Right. You mentioned the heavens and the air. Yep. So yeah, we in that time of that angel. You know what I mean? But we in the time of the angels, literally.
Literally. Don't be surprised what you see.
Yep.
You're gonna see some things. You're gonna see some superheroes and all of that happen. And they ain't gonna be looking like you on the comics. Okay. They ain't gonna be the comic book type, but they're gonna be there. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
so and I'm being real serious. Don't be
Right.
surprised what you see. Remember, the truth is stranger than fiction.
Exactly.
Truth is stranger than fiction.
Yes, sir. All right. So that
Yeah.
said, on that note, we're gonna close out. We thank everybody for participating. We thank everybody for listening, listening live, as well as we thank everyone who will listen to the recording.
All right.
We're gonna ask everyone again to take out pen and paper, do some research, and feed yourselves, and then you can
Hmm.
feed others. We're in the time of the gods now. This is not the time of blind following. You know, we're in the time. This is the information age. These are the days of Allah. So yeah, research, comment, like, share, subscribe. But most importantly, research. Don't take anything on face value. And if you find some jewels and you're searching and in your researching, you can bring them back to us, and we all can eat.
That's right. That's right. Don't be stingy,
Yes, sir.
right?
All right. Yes, sir.
That got us
All
in
right.
trouble too. There's a lot of people that's being stingy with the information
Oh
and
yeah.
hiding the truth and all of that. See, we're not those people. So,
Right.
brother, I thank you for inviting me on once again. I appreciate, like I said, riding the boards with you today,
Yes,
and
sir.
it's been a pleasure. And assalamu alaikum, and may peace and blessings be upon everybody out there in the audience. You know, may Allah bless y'all and continue peace and prosperity.
Yes, sir, everybody. Peace.
Peace.